All right, everyone. Well, I want to welcome everyone to the Upland 2017 State of the City Address. My name's Eric Hansen. I'm blessed to be the chairman of the board with the Upland Chamber of Commerce this year. We work really hard to make sure Upland's a better place to do business, and our board of directors, ambassadors, and staff work together really well for the betterment of our business community. I'd also like to thank Bob Cable, the president of Cable Airport, for providing us with this great hangar for this event this evening. And to thank Mark Ferrucci and Gourmet Catering for providing us some awesome catering service and some great food. So at this time, I'd like to invite Pastor James Pike of Grace Lutheran Church on up to give the invocation. Please all stand and remain standing following the invocation for the presentation of the colors by Troop 614.
I like your tie, Eric. Looking good. Well, we know in the Christian scriptures, at least, when it rains, it's a sign of God's blessing, a tangible sign. And we're so grateful in California we don't have to pray for rain anymore. But we hope that that blessing is a sign for our city, too, as we move forward into this next year. So let us pray. Almighty God, we give you thanks for the life we share together in Upland. And we also give you thanks for those who've been called to lead it, for those who serve in government, for those who serve in law enforcement, for those who serve in public service, for those who teach, and for those who shape young minds. We give you thanks. We ask you to bless our time together as we vision for the future, but we ask, too, that you give us a spirit of community, a spirit of neighborliness, and a hope for the future, that we might be a place where life is abundant and full. And we ask for all these gifts in your name. Amen.
Thank you, sir.
Color guard, advance. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Color guard, pulse the colors. Color guard, salute the numbers 1, 2. Color guard, reform.
All right, thank you, Upland Troop 614, and thank you, Pastor Pike. Please welcome the Upland High School Madrigals as they present our national anthem. The Madrigals will be sharing a couple of other selections for us.
You can have a seat. These next two aren't patriotic. Thank you so much for having us. We are so delighted to be able to come and sing a couple songs for you. My name is Roger Strada. I'm the choir director at the high school. These are our madrigals, and this is really a treat for us. The next song that we're going to do, we're going to take you from the United States to the Philippines, to the rice fields in the Philippines, and this song is kind of an experiential piece. One of the ways that they make rice, or they process rice in the Philippines, is with is that pestle in a mortar? Is that kind of one of those things? But they're really big. And so you'll hear some unique sounds in here, and it's kind of indicative of what they do in the Philippines. This is called Scenes of the North, and you're going to hear some bird calls, but I want you to try something for me. So you kind of have to put your food down. You're going to need your hands free. Okay, so it's pretty apropos that it's raining because we're going to make rain inside. And if you've never done that, this would be kind of neat. Just do what I do. If we scared you, sorry. That's kind of the surprise of the song. This last song we'd like to do is an arrangement by an amazing spiritual writer. His name's Moses Hogan, and this is called "My Soul's Been Anchored in the Lord." Thank you so much for having us. It's a joy for us to be a part of such a wonderful city and a wonderful district that really, really, really obviously supports a lot of the arts. These are 31 out of about 250 kids that we have in the choir program at the high school, a direct result of all of the things that are going on at the elementary school and at the junior highs, and because we're a one high school district, I get them all. So I'm really fortunate and blessed to be where I'm at and to be part of such a wonderful city. This is "My Soul's Been Anchored."
undoubtedly I'm going to. And cases are right over there. Thank you so much. You bet. Thank you. All right. Well, I want to thank the Upland High School Madrigals for an inspiring performance. That was beautiful. And now I'd like to acknowledge some of our sponsors. Our presenting sponsor, Burtech Waste Industries. Thank you. I know Jimmy's here. Do a great job for the city, and we appreciate it. Platinum sponsor, San Antonio Regional Hospital. We'll hear from Harris shortly. Our distinguished sponsors, Cable Airport and the Doubletree by Hilton Claremont. The illustrious sponsors, Inland Productivity Solutions and Mountain View Chevrolet. And our table sponsors tonight are Citrus Valley Association of Realtors, the Lewis Group of Companies, Southern California Gas Company, the 2020 Network, the Upland Police Officers Association, and our Friends of the Chamber sponsor, Robinson and Associates. We'd also like to thank our beverage sponsors, providing the wine this evening, the historic Galliano Winery, the Brandt Family Winery. Council member Gino Felipe went deep into his own private collection. And Liquorama Beer, Wine, and Spirits. Also, Last Name Brewery with founder Andy Dale somewhere around here. You're not Andy Dale. There's Andy Dale. All right, so I would like to introduce some of the dignitaries who are going to be in attendance, or who are in attendance this evening. We'll start off with San Bernardino 2nd District Supervisor Janice Rutherford. She's back there. CEO of San Bernardino County, Greg Devereaux. And Enrique Robles from Judy Chu's office. And a slide I can't read. Representative from California, Senator Anthony Portantino's office, Marco Lundgren. Representative of Assembly Member Chris Holden's office, Matt Lyons. And we have from Kurt Hagman's office, the 4th District Supervisor, representing the south half of Upland, Andy Castaneda, Michael Miller, and Peter Rogers. And we have Upland Unified School District Superintendent, Dr. Nancy Kelly. So now I'd like to introduce the directors of our chamber who are in attendance this evening, and I know I'm going to miss someone, so I apologize right now. Dave Powers, who's going to fill my shoes next year. He'll do a much better job, I'm sure. Heather Potvin with Harp Accounting. Failed to mention Dave Powers is with Homebridge Financial. Andrew Benke, Doubletree by Claremont, a great sponsor and working hard guy tonight. He's our secretary. Donna McClanahan with Paint Party 909. Joe Incraft with Mountain View Chevrolet. Lisa Day with Angel Care Community Services. Terry DeMarco with Carden Arborview School. Mike Donaldson with Kessler Allaire Insurance Services. Suzanne Graves with the Law Offices of Suzanne Graves. And Richard Mayo with Pacific Auto Sales and Lacing. And in a dual role this evening, we have Sid Robinson with Robinson and Associates. And Mr. John Tarrant with Main Street Garage. And I undoubtedly missed someone, and I apologize. Can I ask that our ambassador team please rise? The ambassadors are the hard-working people who aren't on the board, but come out and help us every day to make our chamber great and make sure that we have events that go off well. So I have from the Office of Pete Aguilera, Enrique Arnamenta, and Oscar Paloma? I apologize. I do also know that we have former Mayor Richard Adams here somewhere. Huh? Anderson. What am I saying? Richard Anderson. That's bad. He's probably not going to pay my next bill. Don't make attorneys angry. So Andrew Benke, whose name hasn't been mentioned enough times tonight, with the Doubletree Hilton Claremont, was named by Assemblymember Chris Holden the 2016 Small Business of the Year. He was also just named at the last City Council meeting the chair of the City Council Advisory Committee. And I know that Christy Mack, I assume that she's here, that she found her way here. She's in the back someplace. There's you can stand up. It's okay. Christy Mack was nominated for Woman of Distinction this year. So congratulations to Christy. All right. So this says up here I'm going to invite Bob Cable up, but apparently he has a conflict this evening. So in his place, and I know he'll do a spectacular job, could Mr. Mike Stewart come on up here? And you're going to kick the event off, sir. Thank you. Just talk.
I get new knees May 8th. We'll be kicking it off real good then. On behalf of Cable Airport, folks, thank you very much for coming out tonight. It's important to the community that everybody get together, that everybody figure out that we're on the same page, and that we all work together. And I think putting us together in a hangar in the pouring rain is a place to gather like no other, just so that you know. I don't have a whole lot to say because I wasn't planning on being up here. You can see I dressed for the occasion. Everybody here knows me as Maniac Mike, and I appreciate that. And the other side of that is that I've actually been affiliated with the airport now 20 years. And as on the back side of it is the best part about being the restaurant is I get to know all of you on a different basis versus being the man at the airport. And so, again, I'm very grateful for each and every one of you for being part of the Upland community because, again, it takes all of us to make the community. There's no I in team, so thank you, team.
All right. So I missed a couple of people. Stephanie Rose with Supervisor Janice Rutherford's office. And we have from the city of Montclair, Bill Rue. So I want to thank the Cable family again. They have been a great supporter, not only of our city, but of our Chamber of Commerce and the entire community. You know, there's not very many of us that get to say we live in a city that's got its own airport, not to mention one you can drive on and you know, meet a lot of great people and is a friendly place. So again, our heartfelt thanks for everything you guys do for our community. So Terry's going to be really happy with me because we're ahead of schedule. Come on, it's not, he said it was pouring rain. I don't see any pouring rain out here. It's damp-ish. Of course, I get to be up here in a suit and it's hot. So I get to introduce this, our first speaker this evening. Debbie has been a resident of Upland since 1979. She has one daughter that attended Upland Public Schools through her entire primary education. Debbie's been a proud member of a family business with a long history of, uh-oh. Somebody went ahead on my slide here. There's two people with controls, and I know who the other one is, okay? All right. So anyway, she's been here for a long time. The family's been here for a long time. Debbie's been at Stone Funeral Home since 1986. In addition to her career, she's donated time and energy to the Rotary Club of Upland, worked the Every 15 Minutes program, and was elected to the City Council in August of 2011 in a special election, and has served on a number of committees and boards, the Public Works Committee, the Upland Sister City, Upland Finance Committee, the Water Facility Authority, Inland Empire Utilities Agency, Police and Fire Committee. So Debbie was elected mayor in November of 2016 and currently serves as Upland's representative to Sandbag, Omnitrans, and a whole bunch of other stuff that if I, read through the whole list, she'd get mad. And so she's all over the county. And Debbie received the Woman of Distinction Award from Assemblyman Mike Morrell in 2012. So with no further ado, I invite Debbie Stone on up to the stage.
Whose idea was this, Jeanette? Good evening, everyone, and thank you very much. It's an honor to be here tonight. It's my honor to stand before you as the mayor and to talk about some of the great things that are happening in our community right now. Before I do, I would like to introduce members of our city council. Their dedication to our community is second to none. And I, for one, appreciate the work that each and every one of us are doing on your behalf as the residents and the businesses. So at this time, if I could ask Mayor Pro Tem Gino Felipe to come forward. Councilmember Carol Tim. Councilmember Janice Elliott. And Councilmember Sid Robinson. I would like to acknowledge the council for working well as a team to move through the tough decisions we need to make in a timely manner. So I would like to thank each and every one of you for all of your help Without you, we couldn't do this, and we make a great team, and I'm very proud of you, so thank you. I would also like to single out our interim city manager, Marty Thuvenall. Who has done an amazing job of helping to steer our city in the right direction. Upland truly is a remarkable city, and we see it all around us. Every month, it seems our schools are receiving state or national recognition. Upland is the home to a growing world-class hospital. Our business community continues to grow and provide opportunities for employees and creative minds. Along with all of that, I am proud to report that our City Council is working together as never before to make sure that we are providing you with the support and the services that you need to succeed. This truly is a new day at the Upland City Hall. In a minute, I'm going to ask Mr. Thuvenall to get into more detail on where we're going and what we need to do to get there. But if you will allow me, I would like to briefly discuss a few things that illustrate the progress we are making as a community. When I got into office, the city finances were, quite frankly, a mess. While some of us on the council had tried to move forward with the tough choices we needed there always seemed to be a roadblock. That roadblock has been removed, and today we're moving forward quickly, thoughtfully, and with a sense of purpose. As many of you know, the council has given Mr. Thuvenall and his team authority to move forward with the annexation into the county fire district. This is a critically important move for Upland, one that will improve our bottom line by $50 million over the next 10 years, while allowing us to provide our community with the best possible fire protection service. We're addressing our homeless situation with a proactive campaign led by Eric Gavin. Thank you, Eric. Where is Eric? There he is, yes. Thank you, Eric. And I would like to say, along with Christy Mack, the two of them work together, along with his wife, Cindy. So thank you. One that doesn't simply push the problems elsewhere, but works with neighboring communities to address the problem and its core while improving the safety of our streets and our parks. Speaking of our parks, I hope you've had the chance to see the work that's being done at Memorial Park. The new baseball fences, the removal of the dead trees, the police present. People are starting to come back to the park in partnership with the YMCA, the hospital, and the school district. We see a tremendous opportunity to make Memorial Park a hub of the community activity in the coming months. And I'm pleased to say, as I drive past the park, to see the families out there again with their children, it's really heartwarming. So Marty and staff, thank you so much for making that happen. But please stay tuned, because there'll be more. Right, Marty? Again, I thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about our city. I'd like now to turn it over to our acting city manager, Marty Thuvenall, to talk more about the city's finances and what we're doing about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Stone. I appreciate your comments. I don't know if I deserve all of them, but thank you anyway. About 8 months ago, I was called upon by the City Council to come back out of retirement. I was gone for about 12 years to try and make some sense out of the financial situation that we're in and try and come up with a recovery plan. And the staff and I have been working on that for the last 8 months or so. Here's just some of the things that we've done. In the beginning, we developed physical stability plan, which provided a roadmap for reducing costs and increasing revenue. It creates a sustainable framework that includes resources to improve our infrastructure and enhance our public safety. The plan was vetted through an ad hoc committee of residents and conceptually approved by the City Council. And Jeanette told me if I don't follow her script, she's going to come up here and do something bad. Now, she looks pretty docile, but I tell you, she's very mean sometimes. Staff reorganization. When I came here, we had eliminated about half of the workforce in Upland, which creates a huge dilemma for us, and I think everybody's seen that when you consider the problems with the police department, the number of police officers we have. When I was here, we had about 90 police officers. Now we're down to about 75, and that's just not something we should be proud of, and we're in the process of fixing that, believe me. We also have huge problems with our roads, as you know. You really need to invest in a four-wheel drive vehicle to get through most of our roadways now, so pretty difficult. We did eliminate a couple of positions, key positions in the city that saved us about $250,000. One of the most exciting things we did recently was implement an energy savings program, which includes installation of $5.5 million of new equipment in our city buildings. That results in a $6 million net savings on energy cost and the general fund. We're very excited about that, and that's going to be taking place here in the next few months. We also implemented or in the process of implementing parking fees for the MetroLink. That'll bring us about $150,000, $200,000. So it also allows us to hire a couple of enforcement officers to work not only the MetroLink parking, but also the downtown parking, which has been a huge problem for the merchants down there. We also hired a company named JLL, which is a marketing firm that deals primarily with economic development. They've been very aggressive working on the project on 16th between Benson and Claremont. I hope all of you have seen that. If you haven't, you should stop by there. They're also been working on the downtown area. They've got at least 3 or 4 projects going down there, and we're really excited about that. And we think we're really gonna make some headway with those folks. The other thing, and one of the most important things, and probably the most difficult thing we've done, as the mayor alluded to earlier, is developed a plan to annex the fire department to the San Bernardino County. Pretty difficult situation, a lot of work involved, but I feel, as I think the staff does and the council, that this is what's really necessary for Upland's ability to move forward financially. So when you boil all of it down, here's the 3 things I think are going to be important for the city in the near future. 1 is to complete the fire annexation. 2 is strong economic development, which we're going to depend on JLL and our staff to complete. Extremely important, I think. And then as time goes on, and probably in 2018, we're going to need to look at a sales tax, a half-cent sales tax, which I hope everybody supports. I know the council and the staff does, and if we can get through those 3 things, we'll be back where we were at one time, and we will truly be the city of gracious living. So I'd like to have Jeanette come up and talk about the annexation just a little bit. Actually, why don't you stay right there? I changed my mind. See, I'm off the script, but this is important, I think. You know, during the last 8 months since I've been here, there's probably not a day or 2 that goes by that someone in the community doesn't stop by and say, hey, thanks, Marty, for what you're doing. Many of you do the same thing. The staff has done that on occasion. Not always. Sometimes they're a little upset with me. But I'm not the guy that's really responsible for this, and I'm going to have the people that are responsible for moving the city forward come up here in just a second. In fact, why don't you come up right now? It's just my staff. Now, some of the ideas I've come up with to get the city back in track, but certainly not all of them. A lot of them were from Stephen Dunn's administration, and I think Richard and Carol are back there. They were or Richard was part of the fiscal task force who came up with many of these ideas. So I'm just a guy that gets things done. I want it done yesterday kind of guy, and that's just the way we work now. When I came here, a lot of these four people here didn't realize that was the way I was, but now every time, I know that's hard to believe, but every time I give them an assignment, especially Jeff, he says, well, did you want that done yesterday? I said, yeah, I really do. So seriously, these folks are the ones that have made this happen, and I can't thank you enough for what you've done. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, decent help. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our fire annexation, but one of the ways I want to explain how we got to this point is to tell you about the budget we adopted last June of 2016. I like to think of it as a skin of your teeth budget. It kept the lights on, but that was about it. In fact, a couple months after passing the budget, when the air conditioner at the senior center went down and the washing machine at the animal shelter choked on its last furball, we found ourselves going through the budget line by line, looking for 200 here, 500 there, until we reached the $30,000 we needed to patch and fix those issues that came up. And that's really no way to run a business. I know all of you have experience in running a business, and you know that that's not the optimal way to be able to respond to the changing needs in the community and the changing things that happen. So after talking about the fire annexation and different options and exploring different options for service delivery, we began the process of the annexation with a unanimous support of the City Council in November of 2016. Because frankly, not when it comes to only fire service, but when it comes to the services that you receive from the City of Upland, you deserve better. The City of Upland deserves better than what we've been able to provide with the resources that we have. The annexation was very interesting to us because it was different than a contracting situation. It was a unique approach to providing this service in the community. Not unique to the county because they're doing this elsewhere, but unique to a lot of cities and how we operate. The depth of the resources that the county fire district has is amazing, and we will have the full force of all of those resources available to us as the annexation goes through. It's really the economies of scale of having a very large organization as opposed to having a small standalone operation with the same high cost, high dollar ticket items that we have to provide in order to have that service available to our community. And taking this step is a significant step towards fiscal stability for us, and that is something that we desperately have needed to do. So in order for us when we, as a staff, recommended the annexation, we wanted to ensure a couple of things. First of all, we wanted to make sure that the service levels didn't suffer from changing the service delivery. For us, if we have to, reduce the budget any further than we've already reduced it, then service delivery is going to be affected. But by going through the annexation and them adding the San Antonio Heights station at full capacity, full staffing, we will now have 15 firefighters available to us at any given time, as opposed to the 12 that we currently have. So that's an actual improvement in service for us. We also wanted to make sure that there were verifiable and ongoing savings. In certain contracting situations that we looked at, there weren't ongoing savings. The savings were eaten up after just a couple of years. So it was important to us that we could do that. And if you look at the 5-year fiscal analysis, what you see is that after 5 years in 2022, that the cost that the county is budgeting for service here is still less than what we're currently budgeting in this fiscal year, 16-17. So it is an ongoing verifiable savings with or without the FP5 parcel tax. And also we wanted to ensure that our employees would have employment opportunities after the annexation, and the county has made offers to every single one of our employees. So We thank you for the partnership and the way that you've worked with us in this process so far. So what are our next steps? Well, it could go one of two ways. If the annexation proceeds without any interruption or any snag or delay, then we're looking at a July 22 target date for the transition. However, if there is a delay or a snag and we can't get this on the August tax rolls, then we are looking at closing a station, which involves laying off 9 people without any employment offers to go along with that. We're also looking at other cuts citywide, which would be a further reduction in services that this community receives. There will also be no additional resources available for public safety improvements or public works infrastructure projects. And like I said before, you all deserve better than that. As Marty said, this has been a difficult process, and it was definitely a step that we needed to take. Sitting and doing nothing and not acting was not solving any of our problems. So it was really important that we could take care of business and get the ball rolling so that we could move forward toward fiscal stability and still provide excellent services to this community. I want to thank you for your support and thank you for representing all that is great in this community. And now I'm going to introduce my colleague, Jeff Swack, the man who is responsible for taking care of businesses here in this town.
Good evening. So tonight I want to describe 2 programs that benefit businesses in downtown Upland. I want to describe for you a business concierge program, and then finally give you an update on the project that Marty alluded to or mentioned previously, which is the Sycamore Hills project at Baseline and the 210 freeway. So 2 programs that we have for downtown utilize federal money. This is not funded out of the city's general fund. This is funded out of the Department of Housing and Urban Development. And our prayers are that these programs will continue beyond 2017, but as long as we have money, we're going to spend every penny. 2 programs are the Commercial Rehabilitation Program, and the second one is the Business Assistance and Attraction. For commercial rehab, we offer business owners $30,000 as a grant to improve the exterior of a building, and we're targeting businesses such as retail, restaurants, historic buildings in our downtown area in a way to give them money that they may not have to improve buildings, make the downtown look better. Eligible expenses, painting, signage, awnings, outdoor seating areas to create more of a livelier environment in our downtown. Now this program, and the one I'll describe next, only is for downtown Upland and nowhere else in the city. We have 6 participants currently, 6 people, a total of $180,000 granted to business owners in the downtown area, which we're very proud of. A couple of images, you see Polly's Pizza, their brand new sign, which looks even better at night. And then you have the Grove Theater, which has been completely repainted. They're almost finished. Hopefully they finished before today. Second program, using the same federal funds, so no general funds, is our Business Assistance Attraction Program. This program creates new jobs. It's a very, very good program, and the way that it works, $50,000 for business owners, and what they need to do is hire 2 low-income employees for 2 years' time. If they do that, the $50,000 are forgiven, so it becomes a grant. They can use the money for capital improvements to the building, tenant improvements, or ongoing capital to run their business as they choose. We're targeting the restaurants, entertainment venues, retail uses, the type of businesses that will attract more people to our downtown area. So these are 2 programs that help us take care of businesses in our downtown. Rescue Brewery and Sweet Obsession Cheesecake are the 2 recipients, $100,000 of federal money being expended for their businesses. The next program, I'm proud to announce that we've been beta testing for about 6 months. We've been working with the Chamber of Commerce to really put this together, and Rescue Brewery is our first test case. It is a business concierge program where we have 1 staff person which is dedicated to new business owners from the point at which they come in to pull a business license to the day in which they have a ribbon cutting with the Chamber of Commerce. Now these aren't every single business. These are the more complicated projects where someone is, say they're building a new building or they're doing tenant improvements. So we want to help these business owners that know how to run a business, but maybe not know how to, or what the process is for a tenant improvement. So my staff will coordinate with the other departments, with county, state, and federal agencies that might be involved in order to get the project done. The staff person will eliminate roadblocks, they'll problem solve, do whatever they can to help get the business open as soon as possible. And a major change, although it doesn't sound like a big deal, it truly is. Payments are made at the Development Services Department. Assistance is made for business license at the Development Services Department now. No more back and forth between departments, standing from one line to another, delaying a business opening up. So we're very happy to see that. This program, the benefits, very self-explanatory. Businesses open in a faster pace. Sales tax is generated to the city, and people are able to do what their passion is, and that's open businesses, which is the backbone of our economy, our small businesses. We're going to continue the partnership with the Chamber of Commerce, and as businesses proceed through this process, work with them so they understand the benefits of becoming part of this family. The Chamber of Commerce offers amazing opportunities, especially for small business owners, so we want to discuss that. So with the new business owners. Last project, hopefully I'm under 5 minutes. Sycamore Hills, as I mentioned, it is the largest mixed-use development up at Baseline and 210 Freeway, biggest mixed-use development in the northwest part of our city. Almost 400 single-family units, and hopefully, Dr. Kelly, you've analyzed this number, so you'll have plenty of space in the schools, but the piece de resistance is an 80,000 square foot commercial center. This is on the west side in Upland, and then the city to the west. I won't mention the name. But what's important, and you can kind of skip this slide to the next slide, is the commercial center. So the anchor, as most of you have heard, Whole Foods 365. It's a little smaller footprint, but it's the first in the Inland Empire and the second in the state. I think it'll be a great addition to this area. In addition, CVS, we're going to have a Starbucks, there'll be fast casual restaurants, banks, that will be a huge bonus to this part of the city. And the next image is from a nice brochure that our economic development consultants at JLL put together. Shows you what the Whole Foods and CVS will look like. But what's important here is it's an extremely complicated commercial site because it straddles 2 cities, 2 counties, 2 Caltrans districts, and we even had to get FAA involved to approve a monument sign to advertise this center. It's been very complicated and very time-consuming, but worth every single second of assistance that the chamber can give, that city staff can give at all levels. Rosemary, I don't know how many meetings you spent with Caltrans convincing them that this is a good thing to do. But altogether, if we help take care of these businesses, what will be returned to the city is sales tax dollars. So over $220,000 annually comes back to the city's general fund, which truly helps us with things like public safety. So we're very, very blessed to have this project. That ends my presentation. I would like to invite our Public Works Director, Ms. Rosemary Horney, to come up.
Thank you, Jeff. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I just wanted to highlight 2 very important public works programs for you this evening. The first public works program that I want to discuss with you is our street repair and maintenance program. And what I would say to you is I could characterize our street and roadway repair program into three major work categories. The first category is a customer service or a customer generated work order request or staff generated work order request where we could receive a call and it's for a repair that is in a specific location within the city, and we deploy our operations staff to go out and address that issue. Our next work category would be a more extensive project, roadway project, which involves our capital improvement program, which is basically developed through our roadway maintenance software, customer-generated requirements for that roadway, as well as going out and inspecting field conditions. And I'm going to talk a little bit more later in the presentation about some really important projects that we're going to be doing this summer. The last category I would say is that we need to do ongoing routine roadway maintenance, and why that's important is it's taking roadways that are in fairly good condition and applying a maintenance treatment so that we can raise the quality of that roadway and extend its service life. And that's really the category that the city of Upland wants to be in, because roadway maintenance provides the best bang for our buck, or the most value for the amount of money that we're investing in the community. With that, I wanted to, again, Jeanette, you didn't walk through these slides, but this is an immediate repair. This is the next slide is a street CIP maintenance program project, and the last slide here is the maintenance treatment, which is the most cost-effective way of maintaining our roadways. So sorry about that. And then the last slide, I just wanted to mention to everybody that it's not only pavement that we're working to improve the condition within our city, it's also our pedestrian walkways that we need to repair, and then we need to provide a long-term removal and reconstruction. The next slide is our projects that we want to highlight. We were actually supposed to start today on the emergency repair improvements on Euclid Avenue, but because of the weather, we're deferring the grinding operation till Monday. So you'll see some activity on Euclid Avenue starting next week. And it's anticipated that that project will extend through May. The next project that we have is an already City Council approved project at 16th Street, and it runs from Mountain Avenue to campus. That project is supposed to start in April, and it will be a grind and overlay and restriping of that street. It is estimated that that will be completed in August of this year. At this point in time, our engineering staff is completing the final construction documents for Foothill Boulevard improvements, which will be a grind and overlay from Grove to Campus Avenue. And we anticipate that project will start in June of this year and run through the summer months. The last project I wanted to highlight in the city is a small neighborhood project. It's a concrete sidewalk, curb gutter, and installation of Americans with Disability Act ramp project, which will be occurring east of Upland High School and north of 11th Street. That project will start in April and work through the summer months. So these are all very significant high-capacity roadways with then a small neighborhood improvement. I wanted to highlight those to you tonight. I think they're substantial projects that we're bringing to this community. The next program, Public Works program, that I wanted to highlight for you is our tree maintenance activities, and it's our goal as a city to at least inspect and trim each of our public trees at least within a 5 to 7 year trim cycle. However, we've had some upsets, and what I would call the upsets is our liquid amber tree inventory. Those liquid amber trees are impacted by scorch or Pierce disease, and what happens is once the tree is infected, it begins to decline and eventually die. Over the last 3 years, we've had to remove over 700 liquid amber trees within the community. And this is something that's going to continue within the community because the liquid amber trees represent approximately 14% of all the trees in the city of Upland. So it's impacting our budget for doing tree maintenance, these removals, and ultimately replacements. But I wanted to end on a kind of a positive note, and I wanted to show the ladies and gentlemen here tonight that we've selected a tree palette that we're going to replace these liquid amber trees. And I think if you look at those pictures, they're dramatic. They show beautiful street trees, they show color, they're vibrant, they bring added value to the city of Upland. We want to get there where we can actually reforest our urban forests. So thank you very much. I want to introduce our great Police Chief Brian Johnson to you now.
Thank you, Rosemary. So I got the short end of the stick. They were told that we each had 3 minutes, so I had to divvy up my minutes. And so I promised I would be very brief and only talk for 3 minutes. So we'll see if I can get through that. Many of you know I have a hard time doing that. But some of the things just I wanted to highlight very quickly for the Upland Police Department. As you all know, every department has been going through challenges financially. And so one of the things that we looked at as an organization was our ability to really leverage technology. And I'm happy to report that in 2017 and into 2018, we are making some very significant technology upgrades. The first and the foremost for those of you in the technology arena, it's what we call our CAD RMS system. And really that's the brains behind the dispatching and the record keeping and all the things that we do in the police department. So we'll be going through a major upgrade, and really what goes from there is our ability to analyze crime and put cops where we need to put them in the most prominent times and places where things are happening. So we're very excited about that. Again, the CAD RMS will go to the council here probably in about a month, and then we'll start actually with the implementation. And then the other piece is, as you know, as business owners, is our risk management piece. We're leveraging technology so we can analyze and evaluate the risk and keep those civil liabilities as best we can and not create lawsuits for the city. So again, 3 very important areas that we're leveraging technology. And then the next slide, please. When I first got here as your chief, you know, one of the things that we were struggling with, we're getting officers not only into patrol, but into our specialty assignments. And working with our POA, thank them, they're here tonight. They bought a table. In working with our POA, we were able actually to come together and develop a staffing plan that was actually their idea, where we could temporarily make some adjustments and get cops in the positions that we really needed them. You know, when we first started the community outreach approach, it was 2 officers, Officer Jake and Officer McCullough, you know, the hot crows. You remember Jake and Andrew. But now you have 4 hot crows. We added Eric Wyden and Milo Milakovic. And so if you look at the map on your table is actually, we put a little 4-page pamphlet together for you. If your business falls in one of those 4 beats, you have a direct access to your community relations officer. So it doesn't matter if it's in residence or a business, their cell phones are on there, their direct email, so you have a direct line of contact so we can address issues for you. And then the other area was, as many of you have complained about, and we all know, is we have a traffic problem. You know, we have a lot of people that don't obey the rules of the road. And I'm happy to report that we were able to get 3 officers full-time now back on their motors, so you should be seeing the motors out there quite a bit, writing citations, doing traffic enforcement, and our commitment is hopefully by summer we'll actually have a 4th officer, Gabe Garcia. He actually graduated from motor school, but when our staffing allows, we will get that 4th motor out there full-time to make our roadways safe for all of you. And then the last slide. If you were at City Council the other night, this is a very proud day and time for us at the Upland Police Department. We have been doing an incredible job. Our staff has really been doing an incredible job with our recruitment and our outreach to find the best and the brightest to wear this uniform and be able to wear this badge and become a member of the organization. Last Monday, we actually swore in 5 new police officers. So we are on our path. Thank you. We are on our path to getting these positions filled. I'm excited about some other folks that we have in the pipeline that will soon be wearing our uniform, but the Upland Police Department had a first as well. As we know, Mayor Stone is the first female mayor in the city's history. But like the leadership of our town, we swore in our first sergeant with the Upland Police Department, Marcy Williams. And so we are very happy about that. And so The next time you see Marcy out there, congratulate her. She's doing a heck of a job. I already heard she was battle tested over the weekend. She was in a pursuit and took care of business and also in the use of force. And so she was out there taking care of business and representing the Upland Police Department very well. So thank you very much. I'm now turn it over to the chamber.
It was almost a mic drop. It's the best catch I was able to do today. So, I want to thank the City of Upland, the Upland City Council, the management team, and staff for this evening's presentation. And glad to see things are pointed in the right direction. So next up, I'm gonna invite Dr. Nancy Kelly, our superintendent of schools, but I got this bio I have to read. Big long story about her. So Nancy Kelly is the superintendent of Upland Schools, currently in her 33rd year as an educator, so she started when she was 10, or maybe less. There's no good answer here for me. Nancy served as an instructional aide, counselor, assistant principal, middle school and high school principal, director, assistant superintendent, adjunct professor. She did a bunch of stuff. She came here to Upland in 2013. She earned her Associate in Arts from Long Beach City College, a Bachelor in Arts from San Diego State University. I'm not sure how anybody graduates from San Diego State, having friends who went there. She got her master's at Purdue, doctoral at UC Irvine and UCLA, and she's an unrelenting student advocate. Nancy believes that educators have the responsibility to ensure that the needs of all kids are met and every child has an opportunity to achieve their dreams. Nancy accepted the position in Upland because she believed that her experience and skills were a match for the needs of the school district. As a resident of Upland, Nancy is proud to be a member of the community and serve as our superintendent of schools. Let's hear it for Nancy.
Yep. Good evening and thank you. Well, first of all, I want to thank the city for including us in everything. I feel today that we are truly a partner with the city of Upland. We've enjoyed a great collaboration with the police chief and his team. We're really proud of the fact that last summer we had every one of our employees on the high school campus with the Upland Police Department and surrounding agencies, and we did an active shooter protocol with the real shooter simulation on the campus, and I think every one of our employees now feels better prepared should the unthinkable happen at one of our schools. I also want to thank the hospital. We now have a wonderful partnership with the hospital where the students in our Health Careers Pathway are now partnering with San Antonio Regional Hospital and getting some great experiences there. I want to also introduce the people I have with me tonight. Behind, leadership is a great team, and I have one of our school board members with me tonight, Jack Young, and his wife Robin, who has taught for us for 40 years. Robin is a teacher at Foothill Knolls Academy of Innovation, and 40 years of teaching. Wow. I also have with me my Assistant Superintendent Elementary Education, who's also a resident of Upland, Ellen Lugo. And the newest member of our team, some of you may have known Donnie Salamanca, our former Assistant Sup Business. He has moved on to Coronado Unified, and we now have Drew Pasalacqua, who is our new Assistant Superintendent. And from the 2020 Network, two of our amazing parents, Steve and Deanna Lambert, who have 4 beautiful children. 3 are still in our schools. So thank you for being here. Whenever I speak about Upland, I like to go back to really what we're about and what we stand for and what we strive for every single day. And that is meeting the needs of the whole child. I'm a firm believer that if you only focus on academics in schools, kids are not going to thrive. We have to focus on not only the academic needs, but the physical needs, the social needs, and the emotional needs. And I'll talk a little bit about each one of those areas because it's what we're passionate about in Upland. I don't know if you're aware, but most school districts are not able to offer mental health services within the school district walls. We have counseling services, mainly at our high school and junior high, but mental health services is not something that most school districts are able to provide. We were really fortunate this year to apply for and receive a grant, and we now have 5 mental health clinicians that work directly with our students and families on some of the most serious mental health issues. We have a significant homeless and foster youth population in Upland, and many of those families receive those services, so we're very grateful for that. I'm a firm believer if kids are not happy, if they're not thriving, if they're depressed or feeling anxious, there's not really much we can do in school to help them achieve their academic dreams. And so providing those extra services is something that we're really proud of. In addition to that, the physical needs, the obesity rate in the San Bernardino County in kindergarten is about 40%. And so about 3 years ago, we sat down and said, we need to be responsible for feeding kids what they should be eating and not what they want to be eating. And so we completely transformed our nutrition services department so that kids are now receiving not necessarily everything they like to eat, and they don't like everything we provide for them, but they're learning to change their eating habits. And so they're trying new things. And they're going home and they're telling their parents about these new things. I got a call from a parent one day and said, really? My kid wants me to buy kale? Are you kidding? So kids are trying new things and they're excited, and we're providing that fresh produce by local farmers who are super excited to partner with us in this endeavor. And so we received an award last year from Michelle Obama's foundation, the U.S. Healthier Schools Challenge, and we were visited by the White House, who came and gave 3 of our schools a really awesome award for the work that they're doing to improve nutrition. Thank you. Another thing that we're very proud of is that we have eliminated styrofoam in our cafeterias. It's expensive, but it's worth it. And we're teaching our kids about why we're doing that. We're installing hydration stations in all of our schools so that students can now bring their reusable cups and fill up with the filtered water that we're providing, and then we're going to start counting the number of plastic bottles we're saving, because the stations that we're installing basically calculate the number of plastic bottles that are being saved by using the hydration station. So those are going in currently to all of our schools. We're also doing a huge recycling effort at the high school. We have a student there who came to me and said, I have an idea, and she shared with me her idea, and her idea was the hydration stations, and then she came to me with another idea and said, I want to start a recycling effort campus-wide, and so we're launching that this week as well. In addition to that, in terms of the physical needs of students, we have expanded formalized physical education to first grade. So our first grade students have credentialed PE teachers that deliver half of the minutes that we're required to offer every week for those students, and it gives the teachers time then to have preparation period with their colleagues while the students are out taking their PE classes. The students are absolutely loving this experience working with PE teachers, and the teachers, I think, are also enjoying the time away to be able to have extra prep time. In addition, at our high school this year, we added 3 new competitive sports, CIF competitive sports. We added girls wrestling, girls golf, and boys volleyball. And I just got a letter from a parent today who said, thank you for offering boys volleyball. This has completely changed my son's high school experience. Our girls wrestling team went to state this year. Girls wrestling is one of the most expanded sports that we have in CIF. And we had a student athlete who won the state championship and another student athlete who won the CIF championship in girls wrestling. Imagine that. Pretty exciting. I also think we're going to put girls golf on the map. They had a great season, and we look forward to seeing what they're going to be doing next year. In terms of the social needs of kids, what we've tried to do is to expand the number of field trips our kids are taking. We sent all of our 4th graders this year to the symphony. So they got to dress up, and they got to do something that many of them may not ever do in their life again. But the students are reporting back, and the teachers are reporting back, that the students really they were thrilled to be able to be in a big symphony hall and listen to music that they don't normally listen to. We're also going to be sending all of our 6th grade students on a college visit this year. And our AVID students, which are the students who were not otherwise identified as college-going students, are in a specialized program to help them meet the college requirements. And because of a generous donation from Randall Lewis, we're sending all of the 11th grade AVID students this year on a 9 college and university visit up north. They'll go to Stanford, Berkeley, UC, Santa Barbara, Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, Fresno State, and others on a 2-night, 3-day trip. And all of our 8th grade AVID students will go on a southern tour of Cal State San Marcos, San Diego State, UC San Diego, and University of San Diego. Yes, and so that's going to be a 1-night and 2-day trip for those kids, so super exciting for them. Academically, I'm very proud to say that one of the goals that we established when I arrived 4 years ago was that we looked at the data of the students who were meeting the 4-year college entrance requirements, and it had been at flat 30% for 10 years. And I said to myself, you know what, looking at all the other data in Upland, we have really smart kids in Upland. We need to have more kids who are not just college prepared, but life prepared in a really quality way, taking the most rigorous academic courses they can take to be prepared for whatever they choose to do in life. And so we basically went out on a mission to see how we could improve that. We targeted the class of 2018, who are currently juniors, and we said, we are going to double the number of students engaging in college preparatory curriculum starting now, when they were freshmen. And we're tracking those students right now. And I'm not going to say the number because it hasn't been published yet, but this month they're going to be publishing the number of students in the class of 2016 who met the college admissions requirements. And it's not going to be 30%, I can guarantee you that. And the class of 2017 is looking better than them, and the class of 2018 is on track to beat out the class of 2017. So I'm very, very proud of that. I'm also proud of the fact that our continuation high school, now when you think about continuation high schools, you think about, oh, that's the place where you send at-risk kids who get in trouble. I would welcome you to visit Hillside High School, which is on 9th and Benson. It serves about 160 students, and I knew when I arrived in Upland that that school could really become something special. And so we removed the remedial classes. We gave them college preparatory classes, including lab science and foreign language. We added a competitive athletic program for those students. And this year, they're going to have a mini farm where they're going to have a pumpkin patch to give free pumpkins to our poorer students next year at Halloween. So we're excited about that. And they were just recently named, we just found out last month, they were named a California State Model Continuation High School. So we're super excited about that. So when I think about what's next for Upland, you know, we're just going to keep at it. You know, I'm a little bit like Marty in that I want things done yesterday, and I have assembled a team that are a bunch of Energizer bunnies that we're just out there just trying to make things better. We are adopting new curriculum for English language arts and for math and world languages. We've invested quite a bit of money to be able to replenish all of the instructional materials. We also just recently are on the last phase of our one-to-one Chromebook installation to all of our schools. So in just a few months, every single student in Upland will have access to technology in every single classroom every single day. And so that will really help us sort of advance and progress in the way that we are excited to progress. I want to mention Eric Gavin. I know he was mentioned tonight, but when I first came to Upland 4 years ago, my assistant would monitor Facebook, and she would tell me about some of the bad things people would say about Upland Unified, and she'd print it out and show them to me. So one of them was Eric Gavin. And so I thought, you know what, I'm just going to call him and see if he'll meet with me. So I gave him a call. I said, hey, I saw what you wrote on Facebook, and I said, I welcome you to come in and meet with me, and let's just have a conversation. And so he came in, he met with me, and we had a really nice conversation. Today, Eric Gavin is one of our most supportive community members. In fact, he is a volunteer at Foothill Knolls Academy. He works with our students on coding, developing software, and he is just a true partner in what we're trying to do. So all it really took was a conversation, and then I realized we had much more in common than we had different, and now he's a super volunteer. So thank you, Mr. Gavin. We're so grateful to the Lions Club, who gives us Kiwanis, who gives us a really awesome track meet every year for our students. So honestly, it does take a village to raise kids in our school district, and I couldn't be prouder of the work that we're accomplishing in Upland. We have much to do, we really do, and we're prepared to do it. And with all of your help and your support, I think we're going to achieve some great things. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak tonight, and I welcome you to visit our schools anytime. We love visitors, and we love volunteers as well. So if you're interested in that as well, just let us know. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nancy. All right. Next Next up, we're going to hear from a gentleman who came to us a few years ago at San Antonio Regional Hospital, then San Antonio Community Hospital. Harris Koning's the President and Chief Executive Officer of San Antonio Regional Hospital in Upland, obviously. San Antonio has 271 beds, a staff of over 500 physicians, 2,000 employees, biggest employer here in Upland, 300 volunteers. The hospital offers advanced patient care throughout the Inland Empire. Mr. Koning's more than 35 years of comprehensive healthcare experience, including strategic development. There I am. Sorry, healthcare policy and hospital operations. He served in several executive positions, has a strong orientation towards quality and patient safety, and has a reputation for building programs and growing services. He serves on several boards, including the Hospital Association of Southern California, the Convergence, Inland Coalition, and the Inland Empire Economic Partnership. I might also mention, are we in a race car this weekend, sir? There you go. I've had the opportunity to go out to the track with this gentleman a couple of times, and you wouldn't know it to look at him, but he's actually a hell of a shoe. So with that, I will hand it off to you, Harris.
Thank you very much, Eric. Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for having me here. Following Nancy is indeed like following the Energizer Bunny, and I'm sorry I won't be quite as electric as her presentation, but I don't know whether you want to start off with the not so good news or the good news. Maybe we can start off with some good news at San Antonio Regional Hospital, and then we'll get into a little bit about what's going on in Washington and some of the impacts of what may happen tomorrow and what may be happening in the next several months. So just to follow on, I saw Nancy in the audience, and I was going to recognize her, and she recognized the efforts that we're working together on in building interest in young people, not only about interest in health professions because employment, there you are, in the health professions because they're great jobs, they're high-paying jobs, they're jobs where you can start as an orderly. I started as an orderly in a nursing home. You can start at the lowest rung of the ladder and end up having a tremendous career that can lead you into business or clinics or science or research. It's just a wonderful area. So we appreciate the cooperation and the partnership we have with Nancy and her folks over there at the school district. Thank you very much. And we're not only working with the academy folks to build interest in healthcare professions, but we're also using high school kids to train junior high kids about health, actually teaching them about that and having them learn about their health numbers so they can start to learn about healthy eating and living lifestyles early on in life if they didn't have the opportunity to know those things. So it's a great partnership all the way around, and we appreciate it very much, Nancy. As you're very well aware, we opened our new tower the first week in January. It's long overdue, and the new tower in the Randall and Janelle Lewis emergency room, what a great facility. Some of you all may know, some of you may not know, we had a bit of a flood. We had a pipe break, so we had to run out of the building for a couple weeks and then move back in. But we're back in and we're settled and we're good. If you've seen one of our recent advertisements where it's very noisy in the emergency room in the before and then the after is quite quiet, if you haven't been to our emergency room, and I'm not wishing that on anyone, but if you were to go there, it's quiet in there because they're private rooms and there's privacy and sliding glass doors and our great team of their physicians, nurses, and other team members just did a great job before, and now they're in a proper environment to serve the community. We actually have grown to 361 beds. I guess we should have changed the bio. With the addition, they're all private rooms, 92 additional rooms, a third ICU, and so we're very pleased to be able to better serve the community with the opening of our new tower project. You may have seen, switching gears to some other really some great news that we're quite proud of. And let me, am I doing this? Somebody else is doing this. That's good. We're really proud about this announcement, our affiliation with the City of Hope in Duarte, to form an alliance to enhance cancer care in our area. City of Hope is a world-renowned teaching and research institution. We have developed a multifaceted relationship with them. One aspect of it is to broaden the breadth of physician specialties that are in the area. We just added a GYN oncologist to our medical staff in cooperation with the City of Hope, services that weren't here before. We're looking at adding other cancer subspecialists to our medical staff and growing those services here in the community. We're looking at partnering with them with research protocols and advancing the science of cancer. We're also looking forward to opening a new cancer center, which will start construction this summer. And we look forward to opening that new cancer center where it'll be as close as you could get to one-stop shop for cancer services. Thank you, whoever's doing this. Eric, if you're clicking the button, thank you. The man behind the curtain, and that's you, but thank you. But at any rate, we are very pleased with this partnership, and we're going to pull together an array of cancer services and physician specialists in one place. So if someone is suspected to have a diagnosis, they can have their screening and figure out what's going on that way. And if, unfortunately, they have a diagnosis of cancer, we'll be able to provide a lot of the treatment in partnership with the City of Hope in this new building. I want to thank the city staff for their assistance as we've been planning and developing this project, and through the tower, by the way. It's a great staff over at the city, and we're quite pleased with the relationship we have and the partnership we have with them to move these kinds of growth projects forward. So thank you very much. So we're really proud about this new relationship, and you're going to be hearing more about that as time goes on. Another area that we're looking to expand upon that we haven't really talked about much in public, but I'll just share with you now, we're in the developmental stages of starting a physician training program at San Antonio in the area of family practice and internal medicine. We're in the early stages of that development relationship with Loma Linda University and Western University. And if all things come together well, we hope to have our first class of physician residents at the hospital by the summer of 2018. So we're making great strides and progress at San Antonio. We're very proud. I have a great team of people, both at the executive level. We have great physicians, volunteers, and other team members, and we just do a great job. I'm so proud of them, and as I tell them, I'm proud to represent them because of the great work that they do every day. So that's what's going on for us at San Antonio. I wanted to spend a couple of minutes about this American Health Care Act that's, and I was trying to get the radio while I was rushing over here from another meeting to see if I heard what happened today in this saga, because it's expected we'll have a vote in the House tomorrow on this bill, unless somebody heard something different, but I think the vote's coming up tomorrow. That's what the target was, and I just want to talk a little bit about this process and as much as we know about it at this moment in time and some of the potential impacts. And I say this to a lot of audiences, and I may say things that politically might not sit well with you, with some of you. And I'm speaking as a student of health policy and from my experience as a healthcare administrator. This is not a political commentary. This is just how I view the world. So you'll have to excuse me if I run into something that you don't like me saying, but there's certain things that in my view have certain impacts. So So this proposal, as best as we know about it right now, is in the legislative process, the only things that are in this bill are things that affect the federal budget. That's all. Because that's where the leverage is right now with the majority of Republicans in Congress through their budget reconciliation process. So they have the lowest count that they need to pass what needs to get passed, what they believe needs to get passed. And so this is like phase one. Whatever they pass tomorrow, if they pass something tomorrow, and if the Senate was to agree, which there's a lot of debate as to whether or not the Senate's even going to agree to any of this, this is the phase one. And there's going to be, they say there'll be a phase two. There'll be the non-money piece of this deal, the stuff that doesn't impact the federal budget but impacts other structures. Hi, Greg. You probably are starting to, your head's looking more and more like mine or vice versa, and as we consider these things. And more so you than I, unfortunately, because the great services that Arrowhead provides and the care that you all provide for the folks that are less fortunate in our area. But at any rate, certain things like, will there be coverage for kids up till 26 with their family? Will there be no cap on lifetime health care expenditures? Those kinds of things are things we don't know yet. I think they'd be pretty unpopular to take away our pre-existing conditions. I think they'd be pretty unpopular to take those things away, but you just don't know where those will be, and they're not in this package. So when I got an analysis right here, the analysis says, well, those things aren't being touched in this act, but please know this is like a 3-act play. This is just the first piece, and we'll find out what's in the first piece if we get some, and then we'll see what's in the next piece. I think the most troubling aspects of this piece of legislation are in two areas. One of them is in the area of Medicaid financing, Medi-Cal in our parlance, and it's quite troubling what is going on with that. Historically, the Medicaid budgets would go up essentially by the cost of the program. So as enrollment went up and the cost of care went up, the amount of money that was funded through the state and the federal government went up. And while at the hospital we get paid 65 cents on the dollar of cost and people aren't being paid what their actual expenses are, at least it's some payment. And so the idea of starting to create a block grant, which is, you'll hear that term, creating just a check that the federal government gives to the state government, in and of itself, if that block grant every year was calculated the way it used to be calculated, Greg and I would sleep a lot easier. But that's not what's going to happen. What's going to happen, or what's proposed to happen, is that the amount of money that's being distributed to the states will be distributed based on a per capita number that's calculated in 2016, and we all know when you look at a year back, you're already behind 4 or 5%. And then the escalator they're going to use to 2020 before they start handing the checks out doesn't cover the cost increases in care. And from there forward, the block grant will only go up by the number of enrollees, not the cost of care. The second aspect of it is that for the expanded Medicaid program, there are two things that happened under the Affordable Care Act. One of them was the expansion of care in more of a commercial market, people with somewhere between 250 and 400% of the federal poverty line income, which unadjusted is $12,000, and I just heard this morning that costs $1,500 median to rent an apartment. So I don't know how quite that works, but how people afford afford health care on that amount of money. But that's where there were subsidies in that for people that were working, and then Medicaid expanded from 100% of the federal poverty level to 138% of the poverty level, and I probably shouldn't get so technical while you guys are drinking wine, so I'll probably try not to get there and get to the punchline. The main thing is the Medicaid funding is being cut, and it's being cut dramatically. And the impact of the loss of the individual mandate, the loss of subsidies, the loss of tax credits, and the adjustments to the Medicaid payment will result initially, as the CBO said, a reduction in those insured by 14 million people in the United States, and in 2018. And by 2026, there will be 24 million people who will lose health care coverage in this country, whether it's either in the commercial market or whether it's expansion of Medicaid. So that loss of dollars in enrollment is important. The loss of enrollment is important. The loss of dollars to this Medicaid expansion population is huge because Medicaid's going to be paid different. And how that shakes out in California is that between 12 and 13 billion dollars will be lost in the state of California. I've seen some preliminary estimates for San Bernardino and Riverside County, and you may have some other numbers. The impact here locally is somewhere between 750 million and $1 billion, maybe north of $1 billion for the two counties. And if you do the economic multiplier, which for healthcare is about 2, I think Husing would say it's about 2 or 2.5, you're starting to look at a $2 billion economic impact to the Inland Empire. So it's not only taking coverage away from people that started to get access to healthcare services, it's also going to have an impact because the people that were employed to take care of those people, now that employment is going to shrink. Can't shrink all the way because instead of going to providers, they're going to end up in our emergency rooms, so it doesn't go away all the way, so we end up, but there'll be an impact on employment, and until we understand the bottom of this barrel, there's going to be an impact on capital expenditures as well. So this thing has significant implications for the health of our community. It has significant impacts to the economy. And I was joking with Greg, but I'm dead serious. For the county and Janice, Supervisor Rutherford, this is a big headache. It's a huge issue, especially for large Medi-Cal providers, which are safety net providers like Arrowhead that do such a great job for so many people. So this is a huge deal, whether you like it or not. It is a big deal. So we don't know the next wave. We don't know door number 2 and door number 3. And I remember when the ACA was passed, we were worried about the fact that these things were written and they were going to occur immediately. And what we've learned over time is it's been moved, and the goalposts have been moved, and the impacts are structured in such a way so it ends up on somebody else's doorstep in the next election cycle, so you don't have to worry about the problem. By the way, the Medicaid reductions in funding were actually in the ACA. So if you want to get into political discussion, they're actually being delayed in this particular piece of legislation from when they were going to be cut to begin with. So it's interesting the way these things get structured. But we'll see what the impacts are, but I'm quite concerned, as I said, about the health of the community. I'm worried about the health of the economy of the community because in a lot of respects, we're the 26th largest state in the country, but we're also one of the poorest areas, believe it or not. We're sitting in the nice west end of town, but the level of poverty in the Inland Empire is huge. And we're going to be very impacted by this piece of legislation. So we'll just have to see how it goes and how far it goes. So I guess it's an evolution. We needed to make a change. I've said to some people just today, I said, I feel like we're going backwards. I feel like we're going backwards. That's not a political statement. I just feel like we're going backwards. To uninsure people, to unemploy people, to impact people's health just seems to be like we're going backwards. And there may be good reasons for it. We never know what the federal budget is in deficit reduction and in the big picture, so we don't know exactly what the right answer is, but it sure feels like we're going backwards if this gets passed. So at any rate, I want to thank you all for your support of San Antonio Regional Hospital, the confidence that you put in our team to take care of your families and yourselves. We greatly appreciate it. We greatly appreciate the relationship we have with with the county and with the local law enforcement and local officials in the city. We're quite grateful for those relationships, and we thank you for your support. So, Eric, I'll turn this back over to you. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. Well, thank you, Harris. Appreciate you taking time out of your very busy schedule to come on out and update us on the good news and, well, apparently the bad news. So, unfortunately, Supervisor Kurt Hagman wasn't able to join us this evening, but we have a recorded message from him, and then I will read, well, part of the bios from our two representatives who are in town.
Hi, this is Supervisor Kurt Hagman. I want to thank you for the opportunity to address you through this video. I can't be there right now because I'm in Washington, D.C. We had a great year at the county, and we would like to show you some of the highlights of this video. My office has been actively engaged in promoting literacy and healthy lifestyle throughout the 4th District. In fact, I even challenged your mayor, Debbie Stone, via Vision to be Active, to do the same. And my staff and I participated in Read Across America within the 4th District to promote the importance of literacy to the success of our children. In addition, I recently had the opportunity to lead the county's investment and trade delegation to China and Taiwan in partnership with Kelly Fredericks, the CEO of Ontario International Airport. The importance of these kind of relationships to the growth of our local businesses here in San Bernardino County cannot be stressed enough. The delegation participated in a number of high-level profile meetings with government officials, businesses, and airlines to highlight the value of doing business within the county of San Bernardino. We signed our first sister city relationship in 160 years of the county's history, and I'm excited about the opportunities that will open up for local businesses and its residents by creating more local jobs. Over the last few years, I've been working hard to promote the use of technology within cities as a way to increase efficiency of government and to help our residents with the interactions within the county. We still have a long way to go, but I'm hopeful that the foundation being laid today will allow us all to have better access to services and education at lightning speed. As the chairman of the Southern California Association of Governments, Committee on Technology and Infrastructure, it is my goal to make government faster and more responsive to your needs. I'm very excited about the future of Upland in San Bernardino County. My office sees the City of Upland as an important partner in creating a great place to live, work, and play for everyone. I hope the state of the city leaves you optimistic about the future of Upland. Our office is always engaged to look at how we can do better services for our residents. I'll see you around the city.
All right, so I have this very long bio that I'm not really going to read. But Mr. Greg Devereaux served in state and local government for nearly 40 years, holding various administrative leadership positions, including city manager for the cities of Ontario and Fontana. He now serves as the chief executive officer of the county of San Bernardino. In January 2010, the Board of Supervisors selected Mr. Devereaux to help the board and the county move in a new direction, emphasizing fiscal responsibility and proactive solutions. He's worked with the board in San Bernardino, associated governments, in a community-driven effort to develop a countywide vision, which was adopted on June 30th, 2011. And Janice, everybody knows Janice, right? Yeah? That's what she told me to say, but Supervisor Rutherford has led efforts to balance the county's budget, restore public confidence in county government since being elected to the San Bernardino County Board of Supervisors in 2010. She served as chair of the Board of Supervisors from January 2013 to January 2015. And in June of 2014, voters elected her to a second four-year term on the Board of Supervisors. With that, I will invite Mr. Devereaux up.
Thank you very much, and thanks for inviting me to be here this evening.
as my good friend Harris said, he is essentially a policy wonk when it comes to health care. That's perhaps how I would describe myself in terms of government. As you heard, I've been in state and local government for 40 years this year. 25 of those years here in the Inland Empire and in these kind of jobs in Fontana and Ontario and the county. And as Harris is passionate about healthcare and cares about healthcare, I'm passionate about government, and I believe in government, and I believe that when government is properly functioning or functioning properly, that it really does make a positive impact or have a positive impact on people's lives. And I really believe that elected officials, staff members who are passionate about government have the opportunity to change the arc of life in a community in beneficial ways forever. It took me a while to realize that we have that opportunity, and when we do our jobs right, we change the arc of the community forever. Not a day, not a week, not a month, not a year, not a decade, but that arc forever. Now, the same is actually true when it's not properly operating. Now, you can change that arc in negative ways forever. One of the great challenges in government, cities get formed in defined geographic areas because the people in that area want to control the resources, and they want to control how those resources are used and the direction of the community. And there's a natural tension that exists between the resources that are available and the desires of the community for services and amenities. And most of the time, people believe that there's enough resource, there's enough revenue to provide whatever level of service they desire. And they believe if it is not being provided, it's because there are inefficiencies or incompetence or lack of desire or it's politics. But in reality, that resource is finite. It is not infinite. It is finite. Now, the tension that exists because it is finite is that elected officials often want to stay elected. And that leads them to think their term, not long term. Now, it's a perverse incentive. It really is a perverse incentive, because often if they don't tell you what you want to hear, and if they don't give you what you want, whether it can be afforded or not, you punish them. So what happens is the kind of thing that Harris was talking about. So they tend to take an action, but delay its implementation, or they put off an expenditure that needs to be made. And we've all gotten very good at that. We know how to do it. And we know how to do it for a long time. I guarantee you that we can rob Peter to pay Paul for a long time by not maintaining what you don't see
or what you don't care about. Because it is far more popular to support that sports league or build that new park than it is to maintain the water pipes in the ground or to make sure that the streets are paved. The problem with that is twofold. One, if you don't have enough money and you're going to have to cut, the longer you delay making that cut, the more you have to cut, right? I mean, it's a real simple equation. I was talking with Councilwoman Elliott the other day, and I use this example. I use it a lot. You know, if you've got a program that's going to spend $10,000 a month, and you've got that funded for all year long, then you're going to spend $120,000, right? If you have to make a 50% cut in that program because you're only getting $60,000 that year, if you cut on day one, you get to have a $5,000 program per month. If you wait 6 months, you get 0 program for the rest of that 6 months. So delay is bad fiscal management, yet we're pretty good at doing it, putting off the inevitable and pushing it out. The other thing we're really good at is figuring how to rob Peter to pay Paul. Now, there's a real problem with that, especially when it comes to infrastructure and hard assets, because the cost of maintaining or replacing infrastructure and hard assets compounds exponentially. Compounds exponentially. When I was city manager in Ontario, when I came in, they didn't have a street maintenance program. They didn't have a pavement management program. And we were spending about $2.2 million a year. We hired a consultant. They did an assessment, and they came in and they said, you know, in order to have your roads in good condition, not excellent condition, but good condition, you have a $54 million deficiency. You need to be spending $4.4 million a year instead of $2.2 million a year in order to keep them at the same level they are today. If you don't do that and you keep spending $2.2 million a year, in 10 years, you won't have a $54 million deficiency. You will have a $154 million deficiency. So you can spend another $2 million a year for 10 years, $20 million, or you can have a $100 million cost. Now, why am I talking about this? Because remember I said that often we punish elected officials and staff members when they don't give us what we ask for or what we want, even if it can't be afforded? Shame on us. Shame on us. The good news for you here tonight is that for the first time in perhaps a couple of decades, maybe ever, certainly as long as I've watched Upland, you have a city manager and a city council and a mayor that is being honest with you and doing what you should want them to do. And because they're doing that, I hope, I pray, as someone who cares about good government, that you will give them your support. They're not going to tell you everything you want to hear. and some of it will be uncomfortable. And the decisions that they're making may not be, as Harris said, exactly what you want or what you like. But you know what? They're doing what's right. And they're doing something that will change the arc of this community in a positive way forever. The other really good thing that I'm proud about, and I thank Supervisor Rutherford for doing this, there was a huge obstacle for years that kept the county and the city from working together the way it should. And it was the Colonies lawsuit between the city and the county. And Supervisor Rutherford did something that, just like your council and your manager are doing, she did something that was politically courageous. It was a lot of money that the county believed it was owed. And she came into office and she said, you know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what we think we're owed. This is not good government. Governments fighting with each other and spending money on litigation in terms of services and amenities is wrong, and she convinced the entire rest of the board that. And because of that, I am happy to say today the partnership between this city and the county is better than it's been, I can't say forever. I've been around a long time, but not that long. But it's the best it's been in a long time. And so we are working hand in hand on things like taking over the housing authority, because we have a big housing authority and we're better able to operate it, offering fire annexation, working together on addressing the homeless problem that is our mutual problem. And I will leave you with this. I like quotes, and Janice will forgive me because she's heard me use this one before. In Julius Caesar, Mark Antony and Brutus are talking, and Brutus says, there is a tide in the affairs of men, which taken at the flood leads on to fortune. Omitted, all their lives are bound in shallows and in miseries. On such a full sea are we now afloat, and we must take the current while it serve, or lose our ventures. Your city manager, your mayor, your city council, and your community has created that tide, and it is now time to ride it. Thank you all. God bless you. My friend, my colleague, Janice Rutherford.
We are going to miss him in retirement in a couple weeks, yes? It is a true honor to be with you here tonight, but I am in the unenviable position of walking on stage at 8:02 p.m., and I am the only thing that stands between you and getting home, right?
No, there's rain. There's rain.
Well, the rain, yes, okay. So I'm going to try to be as brief as I can. Greg talked about an arc of history and the opportunity that leaders in a community, you in this room, have to shape that arc. And I want to talk to you about a man whose name you all know, who shaped an incredible arc that you might not realize. And I don't mean Noah tonight. Johnny Appleseed. Anybody remember learning about Johnny Appleseed? Now, I know that Upland is the city of citrus, but tonight we're going to talk about apples. Johnny Appleseed was born in the Massachusetts colony back in 1774. And he had a vision for the new American nation. He saw the country not in the 13 colonies, but a little farther west. In those days, that was Ohio, Pennsylvania, Illinois. And his vision was that that territory could become an incredibly prosperous, fertile land full of families and faith based on liberty. And so Johnny Appleseed took off to realize that vision. Now, we're taught in school, maybe kindergarten, that he walked the country barefoot, wearing a burlap sack, pot on his head. Yeah, you remember those? And you have an idea that he had this sack on his back and he just scattered apple seeds everywhere, yeah? Not true. See, John Chapman was actually a very smart man. And John Chapman had a plan for land development in those territories. See, he would go out and plant apple seeds in an orchard, surround them with walls to protect them from wildlife, hire a manager who would move his family to that area and often be the first family in that area. He would walk to another area and do the exact same thing. He created a circuit of his orchards, and he worked that circuit walking every couple of years to check on the trees, to collect his rents, to invest his money in the next venture. But along the way with that plan, he had two other things motivating him. He was about serving other people, and he was about preaching the gospel. See, he wasn't so concentrated on his apple business that he forgot what really matters. He spent every night sleeping outdoors. He never built himself a house. He slept outside. He volunteered at people's farms. He taught their children how to read. He did the labor that was needed around their farms, repairing fences, caring for their animals, caring for the sick. He did this so that he would have the opportunity to establish friendships and relationships that would allow him to teach the people the gospel of Christ. He was a Swedenborgian Christian. Don't ask, I don't know. He carried Bibles with him and ripped out pages to hand to people. He taught the kids to read using the Bible. That was his mission of how we build a strong country, was by building family and faith and coming up with workable real estate plans that generated income and food. Not quite food in this case, because the apples back then were not the apples of today. You didn't just eat them. Anybody know what you did to them? Gino? You had to press them and mash them and turn them into something good to drink. But that helped sustain the new nation. Ladies and gentlemen, in Johnny Appleseed and his vision for the new America, we have the seeds of the next stage of Upland's future. You heard your leaders stand up here tonight and outline for you their plan. Fire annexation, fiscal stability, businesses downtown, road maintenance, PD technological progress, trees, and then, of course, the plan in our schools to get our kids ready for college and career. There is a plan in this community, and it is being worked just like Johnny Appleseed worked his circuit of trees. There is in this room, every person you're sitting next to is committed to serving other people in this community, right? Everybody here, by virtue of your being here, cares about their neighbors and cares about the young people of Upland. We heard mention tonight of Rotary, Kiwanis, Lions. We see the work of the Chamber and its ambassadors. We heard about our community hospital supporting the health, not just of people who are sick, but to keep people from getting sick, to support the families of those who are sick, to be healthy as a community, to make sure that our kids have a dream and opportunity to see their futures. Upland is about serving other people. And although it wasn't the form of gospel that Johnny Appleseed would have approved of, Upland has a message to preach. Your mayor called it a sense of purpose. It will be achieved through economic development. It will be achieved through improved services. It will be achieved through fiscal responsibility. It will be achieved through improving the civic life of Upland and how you all engage with each other. That vision for the city of Upland that has been preached on this stage tonight, that is what you together are going to use to have Upland reclaim its motto as the Inland Empire's city of gracious living. And I wish you all the best in planting and harvesting those seeds. Good night and God bless.
Thank you, Janice and Greg. Well, the prediction was it was going to be an 8:30 show. Well, it's only 8:12. So I'm feeling good. I want to give another great thank you to Burtech Waste Industries, San Antonio Regional Hospital, and the wonderful Cable Airport. I also want to thank our ambassador team and my board of directors. You know, everybody works their tail off in this chamber to make stuff happen. And I am very, very fortunate to be the chairman of the board of this Chamber of Commerce that an awful lot of people are looking at to figure out how to do this. I thank you all for coming out and braving a little bit of precipitation that, you know, we continue to need. I want to thank Upland High School's video production staff for recording this evening's event so that we can make it available to everybody, not just those of us who were here this evening. So I'm supposed to remind you that you need to, you know, come to our golf tournament. You know, we need a lot of golfers. Well, we don't need that because there's 3 spots left, I understand. So the last time we sold out our golf tournament, it was in Upland. We moved it to a whole bunch of places. Guess where it is this year? It's in Upland, and it's sold out again. So I want to thank you guys all for taking time out of your busy schedule, and now I'm being pulled over here to make your evening longer. Oh yeah, there's ice cream in the corner. Really, really good ice cream. There's really, really good ice cream. We're not out of liquor. Nobody's closing the door on you. If there's someone you wanted to talk to, go and talk to them. If you're here, they're here. Go give them an earful if they need an earful. But with that, I thank you for making time in your busy schedules to come out and talk to us, or hear us talk to you. I feel like I did a lot of talking. And have a great evening. Thanks.